what they are actually like sharing there. And you know what that means, Abi? Yeah, so the committee will need some money so that they can help to the livestock, the how to convince some of you that we are the committee representing the president. So we believe that the Ruga land in your own state, it is time for us to start to begin to set it up. The Ministry of Fulani Bandits are ready to come and build the Ruga. You don't even need to build the Ruga anymore. The Ministry of Livestock will come and build it for you. Are you paying attention? I know it's supposed to kind of get you more angry. That's what somebody said. They said that when they sent Mayegun's diary video to their loved ones, especially in Nigeria, they said they don't like watching Mayegun. So why? So we don't like watching him because watching him is like we always get you angry. And when you get angry, you're going to go after these guys and they don't want to go after them yet. You know? So that's how much it is to sit there and watch how lunatics, how career criminals, as we put it, to majoring in the minor and minoring in the major or whatever, right? People are hungry. And then the billions upon billions of the scarce resources still goes into committee, this committee, that. All of this just to placate and satisfy the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria and their sponsor. Disguise it as many times as you want. It is still the same thing. See, cow business, like a spare parts business, or amala business, or hairdressing shop, they are all private businesses. So why should they all, why are they all kind of like, dancing palongo here and there just to satisfy the Fulanis in Nigeria? Now they have their own ministry. Let's go on. Kolu, complete the nonsense you're saying.
I'll continue to promote. We've solved the problem. We've identified the model for livestock management. It is done in other countries, in other climes, successfully promoted. It created great economy and empowerment for ordinary people. Traditional livestock system must be reformed to add significant and sustainable value to Nigerian socio-economic growth and development. With all measures that is available to us, I don't want to turn this environment into another talk opportunity. I just want to at least inaugurate this committee to ensure that I'm ready, I assure you, and the Nigerian public, that we need to create this economy, seize this opportunity. Be it ranches you recommend and promote, I will work with it. And luckily we have information and technology at present too. Herd of cows can be identified with chips and be tracked these days. The modern technology is available to us. We are ready to work. As I said from the beginning, with you, all of you, the solution is here. must run with it. The governors are hereby represented. Any law that might inhibit the promotion and the actualization of our objective, the Attorney General is here. Please give it a priority. And budget and economy planning is there. I find the budget head for it to grow. And finance is here as well to work hard for the money. When you have great opportunity as this, why should Nigeria continue conflict? Of the caliber of people that is here. This presents a unique opportunity also to delineate and establish a separate ministry called the Ministry of Livestock Development. We develop the economy, give people opportunity to excel. Our vet doctors can give us the necessary protection and opportunity to rear more, breed, crossbreeding, and stop the wanton killing even animal feeds. It's a huge economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby inaugurate the Renew Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee in Nigeria. It is now in your hands. We're ready to work for the success of this program and the first success of the entire nation. So we will leave a Nigerian flag without stain to our children. Thank you very much.
Nuisance Lele.
See, I am livid, right? It is not just because I don't kind of like this guy. It is the fact that these guys are purely playing with your lives in Nigeria. So now I want to try and actually analyze it for you to understand without, without having to do that the way I am feeling, just understanding what these guys are up to. If you are watching me from Nigeria, you are in a big mess that word of mouth cannot describe. Tinubu and his gang, they are playing with your lives, and they will do so for as long as you let them. There is a Ministry of Agriculture. Inside that ministry, you see all these things they are doing there to make them look like they are possibly, doing something. These are the job of the Ministry of Agriculture. These are the normal things that you can propose. They were supposed to be there, right? But you can propose them in your ministry and go on and then work on them. There is livestock, supposedly livestock department in your agriculture ministry. There are vet doctors there, animal doctors there. There are schools in Nigeria that are training people on how to help on in that your agricultural sector. So if a ministry says they had a plan, if Tinubu said he had a plan, and then you are running a country that is broke, supposedly, and you are creating jobs for the boys, it's now in your hand. Go make of it whatever you like. Attorney General, I want you to try and do something and make sure this becomes the law. Finance Minister, you are here. Make sure the money they need, you give it to them. To do what? To go and, because people, we don't need to be killing ourselves. You want to chop? Let's create a ministry for you and put all your people there. Let them shop there. Just make sure that everybody is in your hand now. How is that going to resolve the Fulani terrorists killing farmers, the Fulani herdsmen being killed too? Because let us be fair, there are actually Fulani herdsmen who have become victims of cattle rustlers. I'm talking about people that will they will group themselves and they will go after some of these Fulani herdsmen. But there are Fulani terrorists with their AK-47 that will intentionally lead their cows into people's farms. The intention is to start a crisis so as to have something to come back to and kill everybody in that village. We've had people who have become refugees from their own land, from these invading Fulani terrorists. So if Fulani that have cows need help, it is ideal for the agriculture ministry, if they have any plan for them, a Fulani man that has cows and is prone to the risk of being killed and his cows stolen. So if the ministry want to end this such crisis of invading farms, how about you kind of, even like we know, if this is about settling it, how about you kind of take some of this money that you are allocating and giving to people, put them somewhere. Tell these Fulani herdsmen to come and access the money and buy lands in northern Nigeria. Then the Ministry of Agriculture, that is their own climate. That is where they belong. Let them stay in this arable land of northern Nigeria. Secret money. At least there's nothing Nigerians will do. You have always been doing whatever you wanted, Abi. If this whole thing is about ending it, if it is not to monetize it, which is what they are doing, monetizing your problems, digging you into further holes, the Fulani herdsmen will never get help. The Fulani terrorists will never be stopped. The farmers who have been the victims reported as clashing with them, as if to say the farmer carried his farm on his head, and while he was walking away, he met a Fulani and his cows, and then the cows wanted to hit the grass on the head of the farmer, so they just clashed and they started fighting. No, that's not true. None of these people is going to be helped. None. The terrorists will never be tamed. And then the herdsmen will never be helped. The farmers who have been the main victims, they are on their own. All of this, just a means of staying in power. I would like to see how this goes. So, Ministry of Fulani Bandits and Farmers is going to be has been created by Tinubu and Trust Akpabiole. It is approved, Mr. President. Your revolution, you're supposed to get your own diary now, where you go to write down the reason why I will participate in a revolution that will see the end of these criminals. You'll be writing them down. Why should you participate in a complete shutdown? Why? That's one reason there. Such a shame. It's a shame. And on the other hand, somebody said he's doing this because of the backlashes from the Samoa deal. Who gives a damn about Samoa deal? Who come back to that. Here is something. The House of Reps in Nigeria now said that Tinubu should reject that Samoa deal because of the LGBT, this or that. Now, Tinubu's gang said, in fact, before we even get to that, okay, kind of hold on, right? I remember something again. How many of you read the news that Tinubu has removed tariff on importation of food into Nigeria? Do you know that that was just less than 24 hours ago? The story is not true. It was said by that guy minister, agriculture minister. Then Bayo Nofunuga came back to say, no, it's just for 150 days. And it's for 500 metric tons of food. In fact, it hasn't been approved. Now they have started deleting that announcement. This Bajue, Abi. Okay, let's go to that National Assembly where Oshiomole was also pretty much upset. But I'll show you this first, the Samoa deal. One of the DRF member had this to say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Dr. Gali Mustafa Tijani, representing Alabasuga, Jinkiperon constituency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have amendment and a reply to the House Leader. The first amendment, Mr. Speaker, is the need for Nigerian government to unsign and withdraw from the unpopular Samoa Agreement, and the need for the government to refrain from engaging in any such treaties that contravene the people's culture, religion, and unethical morals. One. And Mr. Speaker, agreement, this is the amendment. Mr. Speaker, agreement upon agreement has been signed by Nigeria in order to improve the Nigerian economy. But Mr. Speaker, everybody knows that instead for the economy to progress, it's now retrogressing like a wildfire. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we urge and we tell everybody, no matter how much money Nigeria is going to get from this thing, the handlers of the current economy could not fix the economy. Therefore, this should be rejected in totality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Dr. Gali Mustafa Tijani, representing Alabasuga, Jinkiperon constituency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have amendment and a reply to the House Leader. The first amendment, Mr. Speaker, is the need for Nigerian government to unsign and withdraw from the unpopular Samoa Agreement, and the
sorry, that kind of bit extended. And the report now is that, sincerely, right? If to say I understand Hausa very well, I would have possibly, I would have brought you this load of how the northern Nigeria's, the Sharia northern Nigeria's clerics, how they are going mental. They are going mental. Sorry, it's not mental. They are going crazy. Better. Going crazy because of this Samoa deal. And Onofunuga came out and said, those who are pointing out the LGBT stuff from this deal, they were mischief makers, trying to mislead the people or something like that. But as we speak right now, some are now saying, oh, Tinubu is is kind of boboing them, right? He's creating a ministry for this supposed Fulani Sharia North. No, it's not. It's a different, it's a different shit show already. I mean, entirely rather. Here is what Oshiomole had to say about policies of those who are with Tinubu, including those who were with Boko Haram at the time. It's a collection of some talks. Please listen. And one sec. Thank you to every one of you who has sort of bought me a cup of coffee. I may not be able to list your name right now because of time, but you know yourself, so thank you. Let's watch.
Liberal economic policies have failed Nigeria. I want to be able to see the president saying, yes, Africa, we have these agreements. but I am elected to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not of Africa Charter. We would relate with other countries. The days must be over when we talk of Africa as the centerpiece of our foreign policy, a way to one in which Nigeria and the welfare and the well-being of Nigeria is the central focus of Nigeria foreign policy. If it is not good for Nigeria, we will do it. How can you subscribe to something that you cannot participate in? How can you have a free market where you only buy but you have nothing to sell? And the only thing we have to sell is crude. And that crude is not determined competitively. It is determined by some forces in the West, whether the president of US is sick or whether the publish of data, it shows that economy is slowing down, that affects the price of oil, whether China is growing or China is slowing down, and all of that. And so the result is that today, we are importers of, from the lowest second-hand time, we started borrowing. And to encourage us to borrow more, economists tell us about how much you can borrow in relation to GDP. They'll always have some statistics as if this were in the holy documents. And so we borrowed to a point that they now came back to say, you have overborrowed. And for us to support you, you must devalue your currency. You must float it. Thus subsidize consumption. And when you devalue your home, goods and services produced at home will be cheaper, and therefore you have greater export opportunities. Because Nigeria made goods, we find cheaper prices overseas, and foreign goods will be too expensive for the natives to buy, since we are now in our native land. And because they can't buy, we've got to have a more realistic balance of trade. And that is how around 1978 or so, the Naira was devalued from where it was 1 Naira to 1.5 US dollars. When I went to UK to pay my school fees in the UK, I got my check from, I believe, Barclays Bank, which is now Union Bank. And I said, if indeed there is such thing as a visible hand, why do we elect a president? Why do we elect a government? The market, by its nature, is not accountable, except to the buyer and the seller. But we elect governments that are accountable, that we should be held responsible for our collective well-being. And so when I heard him today say what he said, I said, then I'm not exactly crazy. So I am going to start my conversation, not a lecture, just a discussion the way we used to do under the village tree, you know, because my father was is the greatest teacher, and my mom, assistant teacher. Between the two, everything I have, they are responsible. I think that if we take a critical look at where we're coming from, Nigeria was at its best when, I believe sensibly, and when we celebrate China, we just look at the outcome without looking at the system that produced that outcome. The Chinese also go to the World Bank. They also go to the IMF meeting. They listen. When they finish, they say thank you. They go back to Beijing and do what they call capitalism with Chinese characteristics. The interest rate is not market-driven. The rate you change your money in hotel is the same rate you change it in the bank. I know it because I have been there. That is not market forces. That is state regulation. And when a state functionally abuse power, they execute. They kill. And so, without following Western models, China has become, over a period of 15 to 20 years, they had double-digit growth consistently, not based on market liberal models. When Washington insists that the Chinese currency is overvalued, the Chinese reply, it is not the foreigner who will tell us the value of our currency. In Nigeria, our people will go to the World Bank and IMF, they will tell us what they think we are. And we celebrate that what they call them now? They are these funny, not funny names, well-known names in West that they have given us B+, B-, B+++. What the hell does it matter? We are to rate who we are, not foreigners. And until we return back to this homegrown policy.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
I just wanted you to hear him. Because when I saw that video,